Hello, friends. Welcome back to Saturday Evenings Posted Mostly with me, your host, Trevor Stewart 1308, and we are here with the ASOC Prod Cat. Hi, Cat.
Hello.
Let's get the ad read out of the way. Today's pre-rolls brought to you by The Hidden Leaf, downtown Charlottesville, Virginia. Hey, Head Not Right. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Much love, much love. Today's pre-rolls brought to you by The Hidden Leaf, downtown Charlottesville, Virginia, on the Downtown Mall, 105 West Main Street, above the bricks, Suite 200. A great place to go with some great buds to get some great buds, bud? And the only thing better than their bud is their customer service. Also, they have the lowest prices in town, according to my own personally highly biased research, by which I mean I was incredibly high when I did my personally biased research. You can find them on Instagram at The Hidden Leaf, where you can also find our other sponsors, Kush Gang Snacks, purveyors of fine edibles and drinkables, findable at KG Snacks 434 on Instagram, as well as Firehouse, spelled with a Z. That's Firehouse, spelled with a Z. Where there's smoke, there's Firehouse. Findable on Instagram at Firehouse with a Z. Note of...
Sorry.
You know, I don't want people making the mistake that Chris into 386 was making there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Firehouse subs are good, I guess. I haven't eaten them, but from what I hear, they're fine. But Firehouse with a Z products are more my speed. Not saying I turned down a sponsorship from Firehouse subs, but
But you don't want people confusing things when they aren't actually sponsoring us.
Right. A note of disclaimer: we will be expressing political opinions and social opinions in this show. Those opinions belong to the expresser of the opinion and or us and or the channel and or parent company, but not necessarily to any of our sponsors, including Hidden Leaf, Kush Gang, and Firehouse. Spelled with Z. All right, now that all that's out the way, how has your week been?
Hectic. Wrapped up a pet sitting gig, and that carried over the weekend and in through Monday, and then had my regular job and side gig that I was doing, which the side gig is doing some elderly care, and the elder in question was having a off week with their child traveling.
That will do it. Well, hopefully it gets less hectic. You know, we are maybe supposed to get snow this weekend, but I'll believe it when I see it. Hopefully, even if we do, it's not enough to make your situation difficult.
From what I've seen weather-wise, if we get anything, it should be gone by Monday afternoon, because we're supposed to have temperatures that are like 45 and 50 by Monday afternoon.
Yep.
So it can snow and then it can stop. As long as I don't have to go to work in it Monday morning, we're good.
Okay, well,
But the
That's what
actual
I'd like to see,
hecticness,
too.
yeah, the actual hecticness will not go away until after the traveling person comes home and everybody calms down.
Yeah, that seems about right.
I have a
Well,
whole nother week.
yeah. Yikes. Well, my week has been fairly calm by comparison. The usual streaming and stuff and going to the Hidden Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
I sound a lot better. I know that I don't sound nearly as stuffed up. I'm not sneezing all the time. My ankle and leg seem to be quite a bit better, if not completely healed.
Very good.
So, things.
Although,
Although,
if you wanted to put on a wizard hat and go hobbling up and down the mall with a wizard cane, I'm not going to stop you.
I don't need a hat and cane to hobble up and down the mall as a wizard.
No, but I think it would look prettier.
Yes, but it would be me putting on a costume. If I'm gonna
Yeah?
hobble up and down the mall as a wizard, I'm gonna hobble up and down the mall as this wizard.
But you don't want them to think that you've got fake magic powers? And then be absolutely surprised otherwise?
They already do think that I have fake magic powers.
That's on them. I know better.
They think I have fake magic powers. They think I have real magic powers. They think I'm an illusionist, and they think I do tricks.
I mean, obviously, from you know,
I try to
most
keep the myth
perspectives.
around me pretty big.
Uh-huh. I mean, how else are you managing to drink as many of those bottles from Kush Gang without, toppling over, if not sleight of hand?
It's not sleight of hand. It's sleight of leg. It's a hollow leg.
I understand that. You understand it. The average viewer that knows not is like, yeah, obviously this was a sleight of hand gag. There was some computer editing going on. This is all
Something.
fake.
No, they watch me actually get high. They go, oh no, that was real. No, my ability, that's one of those actual magic powers that I show them. My ability to metabolize so much THC without it taking me out.
I feel bad sometimes for the people that think they're normal that are in our orbit.
Oh,
Because every now and then, someone who thinks they're normal gets roped in, and then that veneer that they think is normalcy goes away, and they're like, oh,
I'm just like these crazy people. Crap. I must be one
Yep.
of them.
yep,
You ain't got to be crazy to hang out with us. We'll make
No.
you that way.
yes. Or at least we'll make it so you understand that it's actually safe around us.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Sorry, cat petting break.
you are
Alato.
so fortunate that the peanut gallery was not here to hear that sentence.
Low-hanging fruit.
That does not mean you don't pick it.
Excuse me while I handle my dangling chads. Oh, okay. this has all been funny and fun and stuff, but we do
Uh-huh.
have some serious things to cover.
We do. There's a variety.
There is. Oh, you know, I feel like the really, the really big thing. There are a few things that happened this week that I think are kind of big, but what I think the really
Mm-hmm.
big thing is this week was the passing of Jesse Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And, at first, when I heard about it, a lot of the first rush of stuff I heard was civil rights leader, extraordinary person, these sorts of things. Of course. And
Mm-hmm.
he was an extraordinary person and a civil rights leader, and I had a moment of thinking back to my childhood and remembering that he was a controversial and divisive figure. And, without further inspection, my lens of current events at looking at that tells me that he was a controversial figure because he was a black civil rights leader who ran for president and vice president. Ran for president twice, didn't he?
I do not remember.
But and of course, in the 80s, that was very controversial.
Mm-hmm.
But I also felt like I remembered other things.
Mm-hmm.
And, uh, and I found myself wondering if his controversies were, how to put this, not as bad as they seemed at the time. If they were overblown because of how powerful a speaker and leader he was. Was it because he wasn't perfect that the conservative, reactionary partisans of the establishments jumped on the things that he did, the mistakes that he made? And I'm inclined to believe so. Let's start with his achievements. Because because this entire show isn't about Jesse Jackson, I'm not digging in too deeply. I Googled it. I'm pulling up the list that Google gives.
Yeah.
So it lists, it says key accomplishments include, Google says key accomplishments include civil rights leadership, worked directly with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, and led Operation Breadbasket to fight for economic justice. Political trailblazer, his 1984 and 1988 presidential campaigns registered millions of voters, shattered racial barriers, and shifted the Democratic Party platform in a more progressive direction. international diplomacy, successfully negotiated the release of hostages and prisoners in Syria, Cuba, and Iraq and Kuwait. That's something I was unaware of. That's pretty cool.
It is.
Economic and Social Justice, founded Operation Push 1971 and the National Rainbow Coalition 1984. Later merged into Rainbow Push to advocate for civil rights, gender equality, and corporate accountability. Remember that Rainbow Coalition for later.
Oh, yes.
Protest and activism remained visible activists for voting rights against apartheid being arrested in 2021 for protesting voter suppression. So, that's a minor list of accomplishments. I'm pretty sure that his list of accomplishments is actually much longer.
Oh, yeah.
That Rainbow Coalition thing. I remember as a kid, not a child, but a kid. I remember that Rainbow Coalition being mercilessly made fun of. And I remember it being a very inclusive idea. Very, very, very inclusive. And the first thing that pops up under controversies is, I don't even want to say it. Oh, man. I'm not gonna. He used a racial slur. To refer to Jewish neighborhoods in New York and to refer to Jews. And the thing is it's not one of the bad ones. But, they're all bad. Right?
It definitely was one of those things where I don't remember what he said because I was really little at the time, but I remember
it's
Mom
my
being
people
upset.
and I don't want to say it.
That's okay.
I could see being upset about it. It's a bad one. But, well, all right, I'm going to say it. Because it's, like I said, it's not even one of the bad ones. At the time, it was... He said Jaime Town. He called Jews Jaimes. And it's insensitive. It's very insensitive. It's not nice. But it ain't the K word. And it ain't like a Jewish person saying the N word. Now, I'm not trying to diminish anybody's being hurt over this. But I noticed a lot of the people who were really upset by it weren't Jews. There were a lot of Jews who made a lot of noise. A lot of very conservative Jews in the very conservative side of the Democratic Party or in the Republican Party. But And I mean, it wasn't good. It was not good. It was not okay. Shouldn't have done it. He did apologize. And one of the things the Rainbow Coalition was mercilessly made fun of was its inclusion of Jews. So, I feel like the conservatives, the right, the people who were very Jesse Jackson's ops were trying to hold him up to a standard. Moving the goalposts, double standard, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, he didn't have, he shouldn't have said what he said, but then he also got made fun of for not being anti-Semitic.
That's not what I was remembering. I was remembering there was a time where he said something that was very much not in support of the U.S. helping Israel, and that's what got Mom upset. At a time when,
yeah, well, let's skip on down to that then.
because at least for my mother, it was a time when it was still deemed that it was our duty to help them, that they were a small, struggling country that needed help to be protected, and she didn't like him saying we shouldn't help them because here's this reverend saying that we should not help people, and she did not like that.
You know, I'm sorry, but I can't hold against him having anti-Zionist sentiments. Because once it was actually explained to me why Palestinians had a hard time with Israelis, I went, oh, okay. Wow. Israel and the U.S. are on the wrong side of history on this one.
Unfortunately, that explanation did not occur in our house until the early 90s.
Yeah.
And Mom's like, oh, well, okay then.
Right. Hey, at least it happened that early in your household. In some households, it's only happening now. In other households, it hasn't happened at all. So, yeah, that Jesse Jackson supported the PLO and meeting with Yasser Arafat. But he was still trying to be inclusive of Jews at home. You know, again, so he really did have a tightrope to walk.
He did. Did he do it correctly all the time? No, because
No.
he's a human.
Yeah. He also had a tendency to use pretty strong language.
Oh, yeah.
I
Well,
was just reading the remarks he made about Obama.
I do not remember those as clearly as I could.
We're not gonna go through that. But he said something pretty intense there. But you know, by that point, I don't feel like we can. Yeah, I'm not holding anything against him at that point. One of the other things that one of the other things was his relationship with Louis Farrakhan, who.
Remember that one.
Yeah, I don't think Louis Farrakhan was the boogeyman that we were told he was. I don't know for sure. I have to go back and check some stuff. But I feel like we might have been sold a boogeyman in Louis Farrakhan when he wasn't really. Again, someone who said some very anti-Semitic things. Or at least that's the accepted, the generally accepted belief. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at what he said to find out.
I would have to go back to find out who the man was in the first place. Because, like I said, I am not recalling that name.
Louis Farrakhan was a civil rights leader, firebrand, controversial, divisive figure, and his real controversy was that he said some very anti-Semitic things. I don't remember what he said, so I'd have to look at it. But I think his other controversy was that he was not. He was a firebrand civil rights activist, much like Jesse Jackson. I think the real controversy is that he was a firebrand civil rights activist. You know, I don't think his extramarital affair would have been that big a deal had he not been I
mean,
a
yes, but
firebrand
also
civil
no.
rights activist.
Keep in mind, though, that what a big deal it was when a sitting president had an affair and he ran for president.
Yes.
So there was
But-
slowly becoming a time where that was bad. And then, well, since then we seem to have gotten away from holding our presidents to morality of any sort.
Yes. But also, we have to look at how high a standard we're holding for our black politicians or political activists, and how high a standard we're holding for our white politicians and political activists. My point here being that Jesse Jackson was being held to a much higher standard than his contemporaries, his white contemporaries. Bill Clinton got to keep being president.
Yes. Because he did that after he was elected.
I mean, or at least got caught for doing it after he was elected.
This is true. It was not made public until after he was elected.
Right. So I'm just pointing out the inequality here.
I'll be honest, if Jackson had been in office and it had been found out, you are probably very right that they would have been far, far grumpier over him and he would have lost office. Even if he had chosen to tell the truth about it and not get impeached like Clinton did for lying.
Right. That's kind of the thing about Obama, is he was perfect. He had to be perfect. And I don't mean he was like a perfect person and perfect president, but he had to appear perfect. He could not get caught up with an extramarital affair. He could not get caught up saying things that might be even a little inflammatory. he could not be a firebrand. He had to be a centrist to get there. And you notice that it did some damage that he was associated with somebody who was way more milquetoast than Louis Farrakhan. Reverend Wright? Jeremiah Wright?
Yeah. Yep.
You know that I don't think I've heard Reverend Wright say anything that I'd be like, "Oh, dude." You know, he's a social and political firebrand. Yes, he is. So I just feel like that double standard can be seen there when looked at. And I feel like if we don't acknowledge that double standard that Jesse Jackson was held to, we do him a disservice. You know, that being said, he wasn't perfect. He did have some rough edges. He was outspoken and sometimes said the absolute wrongest thing. And sometimes did the absolute wrongest thing. But he also was an instrumental organizer and fighter for civil rights for all Americans. Not just for black people, but for all Americans. Especially all marginalized. And part of that Rainbow Coalition was the LGBTQIA plus grouping. We were in that Rainbow Coalition as well. So it wasn't like he was fighting for my rights as well.
In more than one facet.
In more than one facet. So I want to make sure I remember that, as well as the double standard with which he was treated. So yeah, that's. Do you have anything else on Jesse Jackson? Anybody in chat have anything to say on Jesse Jackson?
Don't think I have anything else.
Okay.
I know there was a period where Mom and I were talking when I was little about things that we see on TV. Specifically things like the Saturday Night Live sketches. That, I was young enough at the time that I was not supposed to be up watching them because that was way past my bedtime.
Right. It was Saturday night, though.
She didn't care.
Of course not.
And I remember talking with her about how, yes, he said things, or yes, he did this thing, and they're making fun of it. But they're making fun of it because he's actually doing something good. It was like, oh. So they're being mean. She's like, yeah, they're being mean.
Yep.
But people are
Yep.
laughing. Yep, people are laughing because they're being mean in a funny way. It's
Yeah.
like, ah,
Saturday Night Live does not always come out on the right side of history.
no,
No.
no. However, I will state and hold that all of their skits about Sarah Palin are on the right side of history.
Freaking hilarious. It's,
Definitely mean, but
South Park
yeah.
can be the same way. But, they take shots at everyone for anything. So I'm not. While I may not like some of what they say, I'm not going to say they shouldn't do what they do. I do feel like South Park is better about it than Saturday Night Live. Partially
They're
because.
far more equal opportunity.
And better writing.
Oh.
Just better writing. I feel like Saturday Night Live has had its good years and its bad years, but in the past, I'd say 20 years or so, their good years have been when they have someone political they can aim at. And they have
Yes.
somebody who does a good political impression.
Very much so.
I feel like otherwise they just sort of flounder along.
They're trying to pick and choose who to go after, and they can't come up with a consensus of why they're going after this person and why it's funny to go after this person.
Right.
But yeah,
also, though, Saturday Night Live has always had, even in their good years, they've been hit or miss. They. I think part of why South Park can do what they do is because they have a rigid framework in which to work. They have a pretty well set cast of characters with backgrounds and histories. And a pretty consistent world.
well, not just that, but they also have an extremely quick turnaround on when they produce an episode.
Well, they do, but so does Saturday Night Live. They're working in about the same time frame, actually.
Yes,
They're
but
both
South
working
Park
in
is
about-
animated.
South Park is animated, which means they cut out rehearsal times.
Yep,
But
which they can all add to the writing.
they can. Although, no, they can't. Their rehearsal times, they still have rehearsal times. Because they still have voice rehearsals. So no, that's not quite a one-to-one there. I really do think it has to do with the rigid framework. The fact that they're working in a 30-minute show instead of 5 to 6 minute or 2 to 8 minute sketches.
They also aren't working around variety acts that are worked in with this.
True. That does have a little bit of effect, but I don't.
I mean,
think, I don't think it
got
has
a
as
guest-
much.
I'm thinking of the guest host who then has to be worked into these skits.
Yeah. I feel like you work around that.
Mm-hmm.
If they can act, they can act. If they can't, they can't. If they can't act, part of the funny is because they can't act. I bet you. Well, I know that South Park has had guest voices in the past. And again, I really do think it's the structure in which they're working, and the fact that South Park has a framework to work off of, whereas you're coming up with a new idea every time for Saturday Night Live. Every 5 minutes, the idea switches, the background, the history, everything switches. You're working in an inconsistent world. And if you notice, I think some of the really memorable stuff for Saturday Night Live have been their recurring characters.
Oh, yes.
Which means that it's probably easier to write for a character the second and third time. Mm-hmm. You have less to establish, so you can just do it.
Yes.
I'm beginning to realize that that's, that might have a big piece of, might be a big piece of what's going on there.
Mm-hmm. You've got your established people, and if you've got a guest star, you're just doing one new bit versus 17.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So... Yeah,
and with established people, you have to rehearse, but they already know how the voice is supposed to sound for each character. They're not inventing new voices each time. So your rehearsal time...
They know the character.
Yeah. Your
it's
rehearsal
not
time
even
is
just
a lot
the
less.
voice sound, but the actual character. And
True.
that's the same in visual acting too.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you by the third and fourth time, Dana Carvey did the church lady.
Oh, yeah.
He was in it. He had the mannerisms down like that. Like he didn't have to. But I bet you that first time, it took him a little while to get there.
Yeah. I don't doubt it.
So yeah, I think that's my take on the differences between South Park and Saturday Night Live, and why South Park can have the same turnaround time as Saturday Night Live, and tackle a lot of the same satirical stuff, but still be better.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Would you like to get on with the actual first article now?
How far in are we? Well, we did cover one of the important things, so yeah. We're okay.
Thing. We did. We did.
So yeah. First article. Mardi Gras makes changes to its famous beards a year after bringing in ban.
Could you read that sentence again?
Sure. Mardi Gras makes changes to its famous beads a year after bringing in ban.
Thank you.
Beads are back, but not the cheap plastic ones. Sorry, did I not hit the news voice?
No, the first time you read it, you said that they were bringing back beards. Not beads, beards. I was like, As far as I know, they didn't ban facial hair.
This ain't the military, it's Mardi Gras.
Exactly.
New Orleans is immersed in Carnival season, synonymous with its myriad green, gold, and purple Mardi Gras beads. These cherished glass keepsakes, eagerly caught by partygoers Okay, let me try that sentence again. Once cherished
I
glass
didn't write this.
keepsakes eagerly caught by partygoers, these have evolved into countless cheap plastic necklaces mass produced overseas and flung from floats. While many spectators adorn themselves with dozens, a significant number are discarded or left strewn across the streets. The environmental toll became starkly apparent a few years ago when, following severe flooding, the city discovered over 46 tons obstructing its storm drains. This growing ecological concern presents a dilemma. The beads are now widely seen as a problem, yet Mardi Gras without them feels almost unimaginable. In a radical move towards sustainability, the Crewe of Freyret, took the decision last year to prohibit plastic beads from their parade entirely. Our riders loved it because the spectators didn't value this anymore. Our riders loved it because the spectators don't value this anymore. Freyret co-founder Greg Rhodes said, "It's become so prolific that they dodge out of the way when they see cheap plastic beads coming at them." This year, beads are back, but not cheap plastic ones. Freyret is one of the 3 Crayons throwing biodegradable beads developed at Louisiana State University. The Plant Me beads, 3D are words.
Yeah, words.
The Plant Me beads are 3D printed from a starch-based, commercially available material called polylactic acid, or PLA. Graduate student Alexis Strain said, "Polylactic acid. Huh. Neat. Lactic acid is the stuff that gets in your muscles to get the gas out of them, and allow your muscles to relax after you work out.
And you get cramps if you've got way too much lactic acid built up in your legs when you're running.
You do.
That is my
polylactic acid is lactic acid that works on men, women, and non-binaries. The individual beads are large hollow spheres containing okra seeds. That is because the necklaces can actually be planted. And the okra attracts bacteria that help them decompose. Christy Trail, executive director of the Pontchartrain Conservancy, said plastic beads are a twofold problem. First, they clog storm drains, leading to flooding. Then, those that aren't caught in the drains are washed directly into Lake Pontchartrain. Did I get that right? Where they can harm marine life. The group is currently preparing to study microplastics in the lake. All right. I feel like that's all of that.
Mostly it was just really kind of cool that, first of all, they did work on the drains and discovered 46 tons of beads in there.
Yeah.
And then, they came up with a solution. They're like, we like throwing things. We want to be able to throw things. What are we going to do? We're going to put okra seeds in our beads and throw those.
I
Okay.
like that. I like that. I also like the I like the idea that polylactic acid can be used as a plastic replacement. This seems to me to be a good, quite possibly a good replacement for a lot of our one-use plastics, single-use plastics. Cheese and crackers.
What?
Somebody is throwing a lot of hot lead downfield out there. Very quickly, too. Country living, ain't it? Am I right?
Hmm?
Whole cow's worth of ammo. Dude, if you're hunting, if you hit that many times, there ain't much left. And if you're hunting and it takes that many shots to hit it, you're not very good.
Or the zombie apocalypse has begun and it's starting in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, but like, if you're
Which means that the
swarmed
zombies
and
are going to
popping
starve
off
to
that
death.
many rounds, what?
But that means that the zombies are going to starve to death. Can you starve a zombie to death?
I don't know. Let one loose in the RNC and see if it can find enough brains to survive.
Yes, yes. Let's start with Congress. No, better yet, we'll start with the Senate.
Alright, so they've switched down to 3-round bursts.
So that's actually just practice then.
Either that or they got through the bulk of the zombies and now they're going for ones that are slightly further away.
That's also a possibility. Or they're running low on ammunition.
That's why you should never start out with full clip burst.
No, you should not. That isn't. Anyone that has watched enough zombie movies or played any zombie games understands this fact.
I mean, I'm just saying. I don't have to reload machetes.
Nope. And if you've got
And
a
a
nice
bow and
one on
arrow
this,
is a lot quieter.
true.
And considering my grouping, my knife throwing skills aren't actually that bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see the grouping back there behind me in the target, but almost everything except for one knife is all in the center circle. And that last knife is just very hard to get in there because there's already so much in the center.
Oh.
I've actually
somewhere I've got a set of metal edged playing cards that I need to bring to you to play around with.
Oh, I have wanted those for so long. I've wanted throwing cards for so long.
These are interesting, and I'll have to bring them over to your house to let you play with them for a bit.
Just remember, that if they have sharp corners, they are technically illegal.
They have rounded corners.
I don't think they're technically illegal.
Oh, I know they're not technically illegal.
That would be one continuous blade around the whole thing with no points. In
Except for
Virginia,
the short edges are not sharpened. It's just the long edges that are sharpened.
oh, that's considered two blades. That's not legal.
If all four edges were sharpened, it would count. It would be legal because it's.
If it was one continuous blade around the whole thing, it's legal. More than one blade or more than one point, and it is not legal to carry in the United States. It's legal to, or not in Virginia. It's legal to have, but not carry.
I'm not carrying them. They live in my backpack that I don't take anywhere anyway.
There you go.
Either way, I will have to put them in the trunk of the car and then bring them to you to try out.
Oh, I would be delighted. Yeah, I have a set of throwing spikes somewhere that I made that are legal because they are only 1 point.
Yep.
I have a set, a very large set of throwing what I would call flechettes.
Yep.
They're not sharpened, for one, so they're legal to carry around. They're not pointy either. They're rounded squares that, if sharpened, would be one continuous blade all the way around, which would make them legal to carry. But also, they're so small that they wouldn't be... They don't throw really well to do a lot of damage, but what they are really good at is being distracting.
Yes.
You reach into the pouch, pull out 3 of them, and toss them at somebody. They're going to be like, what?
I am just picturing you walking down the mall one dark night, encountering someone, and throwing a handful of pocket rice and pocket flechettes to startle them. And if they stop to count the rice, you know you got a vampire and you've got your proper tactics.
Pocket sand. No one expects
no,
a
not
pocket sand.
Rice, pocket rice, because it's a grain.
No, I know. Although salt and sand have a similar effect on some types of vampires. They have to stop and count.
Well, then they wouldn't be down on the mall because all of the bricks are stuck together with sand.
But this is also only certain types of vampires.
That's why you throw the metal bits at them, too.
They're not silver, they're steel. It wouldn't... It's cold steel, so it would piss off any fae.
Well, any fae other than you. And potentially me.
Yeah. Nah, for distraction techniques, pocket sand. I like the idea of pocket sand.
Mm-hmm. You do it at the right time of the day, pocket rice is better because then you can call the pigeons in.
Yes, but it's harder to get rice in someone's eye.
Well, mix the sand and the rice together.
You just really want me to put rice in my pocket.
I really want you to be out somewhere and have a flock of pigeons descend to rescue you like the true ranger you are.
Yes, but pigeons aren't my animal.
They could bring your animal.
No, if you want to summon my animal, you've got to have a pocket full of kitty treats, and the summoning word is pss, 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 pss.
Do they not follow and chase fluffy feathered things?
Not on the mall, they don't.
Right, fine.
It's a good theory, kind of, but it's a good theory for a different character. That would look great on someone else.
Fair enough.
I feel like this highlights this problem I have in my life. Where people have some idea of who I am, and then they fill in the blanks with what feels like bizarre information from my perspective, because it does not, like, I would never consider summoning pigeons. I find pigeons off-putting. I don't like them.
You ever seen a baby pigeon?
I don't know.
That is off-putting and unlikable. Compared to a baby pigeon, the adults are gorgeous.
But see, pigeons are just off-putting to me. I like it when other people like them. I think that is awesome. Great look on them. But you have this piece of information about me that I am a high-level ranger.
Mm-hmm.
And that I am an animal person.
Mm-hmm. So to me, high-level ranger means you use whatever is available at the time.
Yes, sure.
Which would be calling in birds. The most frequent bird you would see in an urban environment is a pigeon. Although I suppose you could convince the crows to come down instead. Which would be far more terrifying to whoever is around you.
I would be more likely to try and talk to the crows than the pigeons.
Oh, yes.
Crows are way more... But my bird, the bird that is me, is an owl. And owls and crows do not get along. So crows always side-eye me.
Fair.
And because owls are basically bird hardware running cat software, summoning them is not highly effective.
Oh, no. No,
None
it's
of
not.
the creatures that I align with are actually easy to summon.
I mean, you've seen the creatures that I tend to align with. Are they summonable?
Cats, as far as I know. And no, we aren't. So, yeah, it just is one of those, I find it interesting that's, and there are other times things like this happen. One of the most notable for me is when people think I'm a car person. Because of how much I drive and how much I love to drive, people think I know anything about cars. I mean, I do. I know how an internal combustion engine works. I understand how to fix things in a car when I need to, if I need to, although I prefer not to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very good at it. I am capable, but not good. And with cars getting as complicated as they are, it's much safer for me to take my car to an expert. But I do, I've got the base knowledge there. But I'm not... I'm not the person to talk about the size of your engine and... I mean, I understand what the number of cylinders means. I
Hmm.
understand how that translates to more torque and power and all that, but like, that's. I don't drive for torque and power. I enjoy it, but that's not why I'm out there. I don't drive for speed. That's not why I'm out there. I don't drive for. I drive to drive. That's why I do it. And honestly, any vehicle that will get me there, that will have me out driving, is a vehicle that I'm willing to drive.
Mm.
I don't. And I love that my friends, that people I know, like to talk about these things. So I don't stop them. I don't. I'm not like, oh, dude, wrong person.
Hmm.
But I'm not. That's not me. You know.
It's fair. It is entirely fair.
Yeah. It's just one of those gaps that people. One of those things that people fill in on their own about me. That is, I mean, that's fine. And we each do it. We each do it to everybody in our lives. I don't think that there's a way that we don't make assumptions about somebody and fill in the gaps on our own.
Mm.
Um, Although I do think that, if not, if you're not aware of that and you're not careful about it, it can be dangerous to your relationship with people, because you end up filling in these gaps with these elaborate stories that I call fairy tales,
Mm.
and you can end up turning someone into someone they're not in your mind, because you've told yourself these fairy tales about them, filled in these gaps with information that you think fits. I've had people be very surprised by my political leanings because they filled in gaps in information with with what fit with their picture of reality.
Yeah, I have watched people do that with the peanut gallery. They take general appearance and they fill in gaps that are not there.
Right. I do that with the peanut gallery.
I know.
I mean, I do it on the other end of things, on the other side of things. Like, I assume that he is as far left as me, and he is not. Not nearly as far left as me. Neither are you. But I.
Not entirely, no, but I work on it.
Right. And it's this thing where, like, when we're in the show, when I say something and I just move on, because in the show we're characters.
It's fair.
Out in real life, though, after the show, when I think about it, I'm like, ooh, whoops. But and out in real life, I try to make sure I have room for you to hold your actual opinions and not just the opinions I've given you.
That is that is appreciated and noted.
Yeah, that's telling oneself fairy tales is one of the most dangerous things we do socially, I think.
Oh yeah.
Instead of just taking people at face value.
But that is definitely an inherently human thing to have. I mean, even the way our eyes function is set up to do that, to take pieces of things and fill in the hole. Your eyes function that way. Your brain functions that way when you're reading.
You said fill in the hole.
Yes, I did. And Peanut Gallery was not here for me to make terrible puns at.
Nope.
Oh well. But I mean, it makes sense to me that is a very common trait to be like, I have all these pieces. This is obviously how they go together, and then you get your assumption blown up, and you have to go back and look harder and try again.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why we developed, as a species, that's why we developed the scientific method.
Yes, that and we like watching things blow up.
Yes.
On to the next story.
On to the next story.
Speaking of blowing up,
That's not blowing up, that's falling down.
what goes up must come down.
Or in the case of bad food, what goes down must come up.
Indeed. Either way.
Italy's Lover's Arch falls into the sea on Valentine's Day. World famous Sant'Andrea Archway in Puglia was a tourist hotspot and romantic landmark before being battered into the ocean by an Adriatic storm.
Mostly, this one is there just for that headline.
That was pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a cruel twist of irony, Italy's much-loved Arcio degli Innamorati, known worldwide as Lover's Arch, collapsed into the sea on Valentine's Day after intense rain, high winds, and storm surges. Oh, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, heartbreaking.
It was very pretty. It is now very crumbly.
Yeah. But you can see here where something like that has happened before.
Yep.
So, wow. It's unfortunate.
I do appreciate the timing of it, though.
I do too. Oh, yeah. Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him at the end.
We don't really have to talk about him. It was just when I was making up the list, he was on there.
Yeah. It's he was
Plunk.
he was one of the great character actors of a generation. He was in so much stuff that he was in almost everything. Yeah. And yet one of those actors that, for me, hard to pull up any roles.
Mm-hmm.
Other than, and this is just, like, I don't have a picture of his face in this role. I just know it's him.
Mm-hmm.
The guy in Apocalypse Now.
Mm-hmm.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yep.
It smells like victory.
Yeah.
The surfing commander.
Right.
And mostly in that, I have a picture of his hat, glasses, and surfboard.
I
But
can see that.
yeah, that's what I remember. But that's he was one of the great character actors of the time.
For me, the one I remember most is Secondhand Lions and him being one of the grumpy old men.
Okay. I have never seen Secondhand Lions.
You may need to be at roughly a certain age to appreciate it, but I think it's a reasonably fair movie.
Okay. Oh, you know what? There was one thing. Uh, Peanut gallery here. Funny. He just texted us. Hey, the White House is also known as the People's House, right? Does that mean we can call an Orkin? We can call Orkin and have them fumigate it? There's an infestation. You're funny. No, you're not here right now, but you're hilarious.
Oh, unfortunately, now I have gone off into a whole nother tangent, and I'm picturing the giant cockroaches in the Edgar suits, which would explain a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. The
What?
I'm trying to find the one where I remember Robert Duvall's face is
Oh.
like in my head. And it's because he's on the and I've never seen it. It's the Apostle. And it's because he's on the poster.
Oh, that would make sense.
He's the face on the poster.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. He's in Sling Blade. He's the kid's dad in Sling Blade.
Okay.
I forgot about that too. Now that that's mentioned, I can picture it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of, he's done a lot of stuff, just a lot of stuff that I never saw, and a lot of stuff that he just doesn't stick out to me in. Oh, here's an interesting one.
Yes.
He's in THX 1138.
Why do I know that title?
That's George Lucas's student film.
Oh.
THX is the sound thing
Right.
that they came up with for Star Wars movies, for George Lucas movies. 1138 is the number that always shows up in one of his movies.
Okay.
Detention block 1138 is where Princess Leia is being held.
Oh, fair. Fair.
So that is, wow. Okay. He was in the MASH movie as Burns.
I do vaguely remember that.
Yeah, he was in, like I
Everything.
said, he was in everything. He was in a lot of stuff. A lot of it, as not the, not the lead. A lot of it very much as the, as a character actor. So, yeah, well, that was it's unfortunate, I guess. I mean, he lived a long life, has a very full body of work. Not to diminish anyone's loss, but
Oh.
he was an old man.
Oh, yes. No, it is sad, but it's definitely. It is hard to be terribly sad when knowing how full
Right.
and extensive a body of work was left behind.
It's not like we lost him before he was able to give us more. Like Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
We only got a taste of what he was capable of.
Yeah.
Whereas I would venture to say we have seen the full range of Robert Duvall.
Anywho.
So, on to the next story.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Uh-huh.
Report on UVA Health details alleged misconduct under Kenton Kibb's leadership. I almost read that as Kibbles.
I read that article and I kept reading that name as Kibble too, so I'm going to note I came across this through effectively a TikTok post talking about the third party law firm that was hired to investigate and give a report to the Board of Visitors. And the big thing that they were fussing about is the fact that out of all of the local media in the area, and there are several
Yeah.
standard news outlets, none of them are mentioning this or mentioning the big highlight in this story.
All right. Well, let's talk about it.
While you're reading, I'm going to go put my tea in the microwave real quick while you start reading.
All right. The 239-page document makes a number of allegations against former health system leaders, but a motion to dismiss, filed in court January 9th, denies these complaints. In a release January 7th, the Jefferson Council a group of conservative university alumni shared a 239-page document which included a report on UVA Health detailing misconduct under the leadership of Craig Kent, former chief executive officer of UVA Health, and Melina Kibb, former dean of the School of Medicine. A spokesperson for Kent and Kibb provided the Cavalier Daily with a motion to dismiss document filed in court January 9th, which denied similar allegations against Kent, Kibb, Wendy Horton, and former CEO of the medical center, Alan Sung, chair of the Department of Surgery, in a lawsuit filed in October. Interesting. The report, which was provided to the Board of Visitors in February 2025 by the law firm Jones Swanson Huddle, LLC, explained specific concerns, including that Kent and Kibb hired unqualified surgeons as well as turned away COVID-19 patients so hospital beds could remain open for patients receiving high-revenue elective surgeries. If true, that would be awful. However, and if wouldn't be something I'd put past UVA. However, that's not the UVA type of mistake, UVA Medical Center type of mistake.
Which is why this was such a big thing when it went down.
Something about this isn't passing an immediate smell test.
Well, I don't know if you've reached it.
But, well, it may be that it's pointed out that this is a group of conservative university alumni but again, UVA Hospital they're not a for-profit hospital. The elective surgeries, huh?
They got in, from what I understand, those administrators who were trying to run it as a for-profit hospital.
That's what the allegation is.
And the particular bit of upsetness that is mentioned in this article and really nowhere else is that the third-party law firm that did their investigation presented their report beginning of this month to the Board of Visitors, but they did not provide them a written report. They attended the meeting and presented it orally in closed session. So there's no documentation that can be freedom of information to find out what the independent people found.
Okay. Yeah, I see all of that coming up in this. But taking it back a moment to this isn't UVA style mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Also, running UVA Hospital like a business would have made a bigger splash. That would have been something that, if not the local medical professional community got talking about, the local business community would be talking about.
I don't know about the business community, but I know that I've heard it from a couple of different medical people.
that it's starting to try and run like a business?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. I don't, again, that's not something I've run into exactly.
Hmm.
Although, all right, what I have seen is that their behavioral health, their mental health emergency area is being, there is a business aspect going on there, as I have alleged without proof,
Hmm.
that there's some sort of scheme going on with Region 10 and Carillion Clinic
Hmm.
where the beds at in the mental health ward at UVA are being reserved for people with insurance.
Yeah.
And this is a complete shift from how it was when I was from how it was 20 years ago when I was going to
Hmm.
UVA to get health care.
Yeah.
And I was getting free health care, very good free health care through UVA, through their sliding scale. That was a product of Hillary Clinton era, Hillary Clinton as First Lady era reforms in the healthcare system. So, so, all right. Let's read on because I feel like something needs cleared up for me.
Okay.
Although the university hired law firm Williams and Conley LLP to produce a report on alleged misconduct at UVA Health, Jones Swanson Huddle represented 36 physicians who participated in Williams Conley investigation and provided its own additional report to the board. The allegations from the 36 physicians who spoke to Jones Swanson Huddle for the report echo a number of those in the lawsuit filed against Kent and other medical systems executives in October. On behalf of Kent and Kib, Kent and Kibb's chief of staff told the Cavalier Daily the allegations were baseless and unfounded at the time of the lawsuit. In response to a request for comment regarding the Swanson Huddle report, Sean O'Connell, shareholder with the Baker, Donaldson, Behrman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz PC, wrote on behalf of Kent and Kibb that the report contains the same false allegations as the lawsuit. All right. Oh, wow. This is going to take some. This actually is worth really digging into. This
Hmm.
article. Um, there's a lot going on here, and
Yeah,
we are not going to actually have time to cover it.
that's
I
okay.
think,
It's something we've
uh,
looked at least.
I think we need to come back and do a much more in-depth look at this.
Probably. Starting with going back and finding whatever article that I posted for last year, because back when the 200 something physicians voted for them to leave, and because there were a number of people that got together and were like, go away.
Mm-hmm.
There were stories about it then, and then it got really quiet really fast.
All right. Yeah. Let's file this under come back to this in a little while and do a deep dive. This.
I'll put that in the notes.
Yeah, interesting. So, on to something about music.
Mostly kind of cheering because I like the band that's pictured there.
Dropkick Murphys, Dying Wish, and others part ways with Wasserman Music following CEO's Epstein connection. Is that what the Dropkick Murphys look like now?
Yeah,
No. That's the Dropkick Murphys now?
think so. Pretty sure.
Those guys, maybe. All of them are too young. It does not say. God. Getting old. The release of Jeffrey Epstein files is sending tremors through the word. The release of the Jeffrey Epstein files is sending tremors through the entertainment world, and the alternative music scene is no exception. High-profile rock, punk, and metal bands are now cutting ties with Wasserman Music after revelations surfacing linking CEO Casey Wasserman to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Documents recently made public show that Wasserman took a flight on Epstein's private jet and exchanged flirtatious emails with Maxwell, while Wasserman insists that these interactions were brief and occurred over 20 years ago and happened before Epstein and Maxwell's criminal activities were public. The connection has prompted a major client exodus, as well it should. In response to mounting pressure, Wasserman addresses his staff in an internal memo revealing plans to sell the company and step back from day-to-day operations. As reported by Metal Injection, he wrote, I wanted to write to you all directly to share a few important updates. Over the past couple of weeks, I have spoken to many of you directly, and I wish I could have spoken with each and every one of you because you all have put your hearts and souls. Jesus, why is it doing this? Hearts and
I don't
souls
know.
into this incredible organization. First and foremost, I want to apologize to you. I'm deeply sorry that my past personal blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I really almost 100 artists are impacted by the situation. Several acts have released public statements addressing their departures, and the one we care about, Dropkick Murphys. Although, let's see if there's any of the other ones. Cypress Hill. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't care about Dashboard Confessional or Death Cab for Cutie,
Yeah.
but they or Lamb of God, but they just don't do it for me. My Chemical Romance, no, I am not an MCR fan. I tried, I am not.
I think Papa
Turnstile.
Roach is on that list too.
Oh, gosh. Why? Why, Papa
I don't
Roach?
know.
You're not gonna win us back. We didn't like you in the first place. Being on the right side of history isn't gonna make us like you. I mean, okay,
True, but
maybe you're actually on the right side of history on this one. Sure, that's cool. But, like, step out and take responsibility for all the douche nozzles that you have produced over the years. Step up and take responsibility for your fan base. And then we can talk about, yeah. Also, try putting out good music first before we care. Like,
I don't know. Maybe he's hoping that by being on the right side of history, when so many are not, that'll leave, fewer choices for people to listen to.
still not listening to Papa Roach. Yeah.
That's okay.
Dropkick Murphys said Dropkick Murphys have parted ways with the officers. Dropkick Murphys have parted ways with the Wasserman Music Agency. We love our agents. They're great partners. We signed with them years before they merged with Wasserman. It saddens us to part ways with them, but the namesake of the agency is in the Epstein files, so we gone.
On the one hand, this is absolutely to be expected of them.
Right.
On the other hand, it is still really nice to see a group that you would expect to do something do what they
Do what they're supposed to.
they have been saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they mentioned right there their agents were not affiliated originally. Their agents
Right.
were this, and they got bought out by them. So they could have had that entire wiggle room there to say, we're not actually part of them, we're with our agents who ended up joining.
But
But
they
they didn't. They
didn't.
just went,
They
yeah.
went, no. Yeah, that is nice.
Forget what the next story is.
Well, we're gonna take a brief moment and mention also the
Oh, that's the next
Andrew,
story.
formerly known as Prince, was arrested
On his birthday.
on his birthday.
Yes.
Speaking of fallout from Epstein files, you know,
And
the
King
last
Charles.
king to get arrested, or the last royal to get arrested, was Charles II, I believe.
Something like, what, 400 years ago?
Yes. And he was the last Stuart king. He wasn't I don't think he was the last Stuart monarch, but he was the last Stuart king, the last of the Stuarts.
Yeah. Well,
Which is why Prince Chucky III is a pretender to my throne.
Prince Chucky III is quoted as saying the law must do what it must do, and basically waving at them to take his brother away.
Yeah. It's gonna end better for Andrew than it did for Charles II.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Andrew
for starters,
is gonna get to keep his head.
yeah. I forgot that I put that particular line in there.
Oh, the arrested on his birthday, very fitting.
Yes.
Yeah.
'Cause it was. It was.
Yeah.
I'm tacking that up there with the with Denmark waiting until the very minute that their person's immunity ran out, and then showing up at the door with a warrant. It's like, you're coming with us.
That is a good one. That is a good one. All right. I don't know that we're going to get to all the stories this week.
That's fair. That is fair. Highlights.
Let's do this last one and maybe talk about a few things in the news and then
Okay.
call it a day.
That is fair. If you're going to do a last one, could you scroll down and do the one about the tariffs? Because I really want you to read the invoice that the governor of Illinois sent Trump.
Tariff News Part 1 or
Part 2.
Part 2?
Yeah.
All right. And this is one of the things that I was going to bring up. One of the big things that happened this week was that the Supreme Court came out with a ruling that the tariffs were invalid. So
Yes, this is the one that has the invoice. Yes. Sorry.
and that is a pretty big deal.
It is.
In general, I am very curious as to how we're going to move forward.
But yeah.
Pritzker obviously has his own idea. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker sends bill for $8.68 billion refund to Trump after Supreme Court tariffs ruling. Governor J.B. Pritzker is demanding President Trump refund the state of Illinois more than $8 billion after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down his sweeping reciprocal tariffs Friday. The court ruled 6-3 that the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEEPA, does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. Now businesses are pressing the Trump administration to issue tariff refunds, and Governor Pritzker has joined their call. In a letter to Mr. Trump that Pritzker shared publicly, he wrote, "Your tariff taxes wreaked havoc. Wreaked havoc."
That does not sound like an Illinois accent to me.
No, it's not. That's the accent in which I say wreaked havoc.
Okay.
I have a hard time not saying it in that accent because it is, yeah, wreaked havoc on farmers. Enraged our allies and sent grocery prices through the roof. This morning, your hand-picked Supreme Court justices notified you that they are also unconstitutional. So, alright, that's cute.
He sent a real honest.
Past due delinquent.
Yes.
Oh, that is. Invoice LI-tariff-2026. That's the invoice number.
Yep.
Notes, Illinois family paid the price for illegal tariffs. All the grocery store, at the hardware store, and around the kitchen table. Tariffs or taxes on, and working families were the ones that paid them. I like that. That is cute. I will say, it weren't just Illinois. It were all of us.
Oh, Newsom is he issued his own thing, but that's.
I'm sure he did.
And the others are, I think, getting ready to.
Yeah, and this is the letter.
Yep, that is the letter.
I guess we did kind of cover the Supreme Court strikes down Trump's sweeping global tariffs. There.
I mean, sort of.
We sort of covered Tariff News Part 1.
Yeah.
This is, again, Pritzker has some idea of how his people are getting compensated. But the rest of us are sort of out here on our own. And I gotta wonder if, our governors are going to stand up for us. And that's something I'd like to see our governor, Abigail Spanberger, stand up and fight for. Because, we got hit at the grocery store as well. and a lot of other places.
Yeah.
And we're still getting hit. Um, I'd be willing to bet that the price of beef wouldn't be so high if we weren't tariffing foreign beef so much. I don't know what the tariffs on foreign beef are, but I'm willing to bet our local beef prices come down. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that may not be good for our local beef farmers. Our local beef farmers are caught in a death spiral at the moment.
Yeah.
There's this problem of because costs are so high, they are only producing as much meat as they can sell.
Right.
Because costs of starting a new herd, of growing your herd, are so high.
Yeah.
And the uncertainty, the uncertainty in price that was brought around by the tariffs, and then by threatening to untariff certain countries and import their beef, and has made it impossible for beef farmers to gauge what to do, which has led to the lowest amount of cattle in the US ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because no one's sure if they want to go into it, because the payoff may not be there.
Mm.
And that is the danger of the uncertainty that these tariffs and Trump, to a greater degree, this uncertainty that they have introduced into the markets, are destabilizing the markets, because in a medium to long term sense, no one knows what to do next. So they do nothing. Instead of gambling, they do nothing.
Because being uncertain, they're going to lose money either way, but by doing nothing, at least they're not spending money that they will later lose. Effectively.
Sort
It's
of.
not
I mean, the way
smart,
they see
necessarily.
it, the way they see it is, they're not. If they gamble, they'll lose it all at once, or it'll pay off.
Yeah.
50-50 shot. They're guaranteed to lose less money less quickly by doing nothing.
Yep.
The key is for conditions to be favorable again before they get below the necessary seed capital, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
We will.
I do believe that the U.S. beef market will rebound at some point. Although
It will.
I don't know when that'll be.
Mm, at some point in the reasonable future. hopefully.
Yes. So we have covered all of that.
Yep.
And then we've got some other ones. We'll come back to those other stories next week.
Yep.
Uh let's see, other big things that happened this week in the news. A trans Nazi shot up an ice skating rink
In Canada.
in Canada. That is very confusing.
Yes, it is. There's a whole lot of what one would think were mutually exclusive words there combined for that sentence.
Right? I'm not sure if I'm more surprised by trans Nazi or mass shooting in Canada.
I'm going to go with the second one simply because Nazis will take, you know, anybody can suddenly decide to be a Nazi. But, Canada has very rigorous gun rules.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, on a sort of plausibility level. Yeah.
I could see mass shooting at a hockey game. Here.
Not in Canada.
No.
No.
I could
Also,
see mass.
though, this wasn't a hockey game.
It was a kids' exhibition thing. If I read it right.
In any case, but yeah, like there's so much here that is really confusing about this. I just I The reality AI bot is broken. Somebody fix the coding.
Okay. Let's see. I think we are actually managing to mix up two separate things because of the word hockey.
Okay. Okay. But still. So there are two separate, very confusing stories that involve a shooting at an ice skating rink.
Hang on, let me finish reading. Okay, so what we are confusing, because honestly, I think, at least on my part, because the word hockey was mentioned.
I never said hockey. I said ice skating rink.
Yeah, well,
Your
the
brain
one
filled
in
in
Canada.
hockey.
Yes, because, what else do you do on an ice skating rink?
Figure skating. Speed skating. Ice
I fall
dancing.
down too much. I need to stick to stand up. Alright, so the one that I was thinking of was actually was in Canada, but it was a school related thing.
Okay. So you saw Canada and thought hockey.
Now, the one you're talking about that actually had the ice rink happened in Rhode Island at a youth hockey game.
Rhode Island is only slightly less surprising than Canada.
I understand this. Among other things, I did not realize they had any type of ice rink in Rhode Island.
Why
I
wouldn't
didn't think
they?
the state was big enough.
A size joke coming from you? That's rich.
Yes? Yes, it is. I could have made it a chicken joke. Too many chickens. All the Rhode Island Reds are there.
Why would
And-
chickens preclude an ice rink?
I mean, where are you going to put it with all the eggs?
You're reaching.
I don't have to make sense.
I'll let it go.
You probably should. So yeah. Let's see.
So yeah, I think those are sort of the major things that I wanted to cover in the news this week. I am not thinking of anything else off the top of my head.
Let's see.
Are we still building up our naval presence outside of Venezuela and Cuba? Didn't we threaten Cuba this week?
We threatened Iran this week.
Oh, right, we threatened Iran this week.
He was planning on doing stuff to them Sunday night. So we'll see
That's
how that
right.
goes.
That's right.
Let's see. He had his temper tantrum over tariffs yesterday
Yeah.
and declared that he was going to put a global one in place, even though he was told he can't do any.
Right. Oh, and he claimed that it strengthened his ability to enact tariffs. It's made his executive power stronger than ever before.
By being told no. Right.
If you strike me down now, you shall make me more powerful than I was before. Alright, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. Let's see. What else? They're still searching for the Guthrie woman.
Yeah. Yeah, that's looking less and less good. And it wasn't looking good last week.
It's looking less good, but it's also starting to look way weirder.
Yeah.
Among other things, they released partial footage from her doorbell camera of the possible kidnapper
Yeah.
who was using a stick that he pulled up out of the grass outside to try to jimmy the camera off the wall.
Yeah. Also, they said they found one of his gloves, or they think they found one of his gloves several blocks away.
They also think they found a place where she was initially held and then later moved from.
Sounds like they have dogs working on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they said that like day one that they had dogs working on it.
Right.
But, you know, you also have the Mango Dippin' Dot there adding in his 2 cents, stating, you know, if this happens, then I want to make sure they're up for the death penalty. It's like, great.
Did you all hear that?
I did not. Over Discord, I did not.
I felt that one.
Okay.
That was... I mean, like, that was a cannon level explosion. That was... No, that was bigger. That was... I don't know that that was a gun. That was an explosion.
Have any lighter sounds resumed?
It's quiet out there right now.
Well,
I'm gonna go look out the window real quick,
please do.
y'all. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right, I'm back. No smoke, no screaming, so I'm assuming everything's okay.
Well,
Well,
if you don't hear anything else in like the next 15 minutes,
I assume
it might be
everything's
worth
all right.
going for a drive.
Well, all right. Oh. Well, yeah. Where were we? That derailed me.
Things that may show up during tomorrow's NPR thing.
Yeah.
They might talk about Nazgul the dog.
Yeah. Yep. Nazgul the dog. Although we talked about that.
No, we had it on the list. We didn't talk about it.
No, I thought we mentioned that last week.
No, because that happened this week.
That happened this week. Maybe I mentioned it.
You might have mentioned it during stream on like Wednesday or something.
Thursday.
Whenever.
Tuesday or Thursday. I don't stream Wednesday.
I can't keep up with my own life, let alone yours. I love you, but I can't.
I thought we mentioned it on Sunday.
No, because it didn't. Like I said, it didn't happen until.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah. Dog ran out on the ice. It was hockey. Was
Cross
it
country
hockey?
skiing.
Cross country skiing. A dog named Nazgul, and they got a picture of him crossing the finish line. The camera.
He is a something wolf dog.
Yep.
Can you imagine being cross country skiing and looking behind you to see that you're being chased by this giant wolf?
I could see myself winning the race at that point.
Sweden won.
We will talk more in depth about it next week because it's on the list.
Yeah. Let's see. What else? Picking fights with Iran, or further fights with Iran.
Right. The Israel Palestine ceasefire seems to be dissolving at best. The whatever board of peace that Trump came up with made up.
Oh,
had its first meeting.
oh, I know what might end up on there. Um, the um, the World Court had people in reading the files that were consultants, effectively. There's another word for them, but effectively consultants that read through the files and said that with the great amount and depth of things that happened, they effectively amount to crimes against humanity.
The Epstein files or the
Yep.
oh whoa oh man.
They have not been officially declared that yet, but the people consulting on that said that they definitely could be classified that way. So that opens some wonderful legal doors for the World Court to start prosecuting certain peoples.
That does. That does. That would be good.
You had, I'm trying to remember when it happened exactly. I know it's been popping up more recently this week, but you had something else that was happening, and they shut the doors and wouldn't let the U.S. attend.
Okay.
Not NATO, but something
UN?
UN related,
Okay.
where they're like, no, we're closing the doors. You're not allowed to attend this. I'm sorry. You're out.
Okay.
And then you had who whatever the guy that was originally investigating the election fraud or supposed election fraud for 2020.
Mm-hmm.
You had his testimony being heard.
Okay. Oh, no.
James something.
Nope. I thought I had something there and I don't.
Where they asked him flat out if, among other things, if he had proof that Trump committed felonies in election fraud in the state of Georgia.
Oh, wow.
And he very flat and bald-facedly said yes.
Oh.
I do not know what they were expecting, but it was very clear that the very firm and unadorned answer was not it.
Right. Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I think we've just about covered everything.
We're both running out of steam.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, the adrenaline, the adrenaline wore off. Now I'm having that crash after the adrenaline from that, whatever
Explosion.
that. Yeah.
Well,
Just saying.
I would say sign off and set this to uploading and go for a drive in the opposite direction for a little bit.
Oh, that's entirely possible. Well, all right. Thank you, Kat, for being here.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Head Not Right, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for lurking. Much love. Stick around for the raid. And now is the time on the show when I say, as they say around here, 2 up, 2 down. VA, double deuces. We're out, y'all.
This is the last call for Amtrak. I'm down at 170.